The Regions Bank postgame report. Regions Bank, the official bank of the SEC.
All right, Mizzou Network postgame extra. I'm Ben Arnet with Colin McElroy. After a 36-17 Tiger win over Florida, Mizzou improves to 7-0, and I think there's something happening here, Colin. My goodness. The biggest thing that's sticking out to me is the dominant fashion in which Missouri is winning these games. They closed the fourth quarter so well. They're taking close games, and they're turning them into, not blowouts, but, hey, whenever you beat an SEC team by multiple scores, on the road last week, at home this week, it's really saying something. And this is just such a tight-knit, good, close team that they're making some really good teams look bad these days.
And the scary part is Mizzou is historically a slow-starting team. They didn't start very slow on Saturday. Matty Mock, 2 straight long completions for a touchdown. Freshman quarterback, redshirt freshman quarterback, starting his first game against Florida, which has one of the best defenses in the SEC. He's able to do that, throw for 295 yards, throw for a score, rush for a score. There's plenty that is going on here, and that, of course, for today starts with Matty Mock.
Matty ends up passing for 295 yards, part of the 500 yards of total offense for the Missouri football team, and getting to this dominance that I was talking about. Mizzou outrushes Florida 205-59, outthrows them 295-92 for a grand total of 500 yards of total offense for the Tigers to 151 yards of total offense for Florida. And half of that came on one drive for the Gators when they looked like they got their act together with a long 6-play drive for their only offensive touchdown of the game. The other TD they had came on a kick return to start the second half. So unbelievable the way Missouri is winning these games. And as you mentioned, it starts with Matty Mock, and he throws for a touchdown. He runs in a touchdown. That was the capper. And just the poise he showed. And he told me in our postgame interview that you can watch here on MizzouNetwork.com and the Mizzou Network YouTube channel that he loved the way that offensive coordinator Josh Henson came out and attacked. It was a 2-play, 22-second drive, covered about 75 yards, and Missouri was in the end zone in less than 30 seconds. And he said that really opened things up for him, and it seemed like the offense just kind of churned from there.
And it speaks of the confidence that Matty Mock has in Josh Henson and the confidence Josh Henson has in Matty Mock. We talked about it the other day when he came in for the Georgia game. He asked, what plays are you comfortable with? He outlined every single play. They went with it. They won at Georgia. Well, they had another week to find out how many plays Matty Mock was very comfortable with. He said the confidence of those 2 plays, especially that starter, the very first throw, you're throwing downfield, you're going to LaDamian Washington, who comes down with it. That's a first down, and then get into the end zone. When you have that type of confidence in a quarterback, especially a young quarterback like that, with Gary Pinkel, head coach, talking about it after the game, this is the toughest environment he's ever thrown a freshman into, facing a defense like Florida in a very, very hostile environment. Even though this is a home crowd, I mean, this was a very, very loud stadium, sold out, 67,000 plus. You've got a kid who has not been on the field very much to go against one of the best teams in the SEC, and you see how Matty did it, but he also had plenty of help. The offensive line, the defensive line, the defense as a whole, his wide receivers, and of course running backs. Henry Josie, you see that popping off, another 100-yard gain for him. I mean, everything is clicking at the right time for Mizzou right now.
136 rushing yards for Henry Josie. I think what you're getting at, not a hostile environment, but just a big-time atmosphere here today. 67,000 plus fans, first sellout of the year for Missouri. To see a redshirt freshman just excel in that kind of environment was amazing. The Missouri defense continues to excel. Michael Sam, 3 more sacks. This is, bar none, the defensive player of the year in the Southeastern Conference for the first half of the season. There's no one else even in the conversation. He's going to win SEC Defensive Lineman in the week again. It's his 3rd 3-sack game of the season. Michael Sam is really the motor that's running this defense, and everybody on this Mizzou defense is just playing on a whole nother level right now.
And he was talking about it after the game. The biggest thing that they want, the wins, they'll come, they want respect, and Michael Sam certainly is beginning to get that respect. I mean, coming off the edge, you saw him multiple times shooting from behind the Florida offense and kind of focusing on the defense when we were shooting. I mean, it was 1001, 1002, here comes Michael Sam. 1001, 1002, 1003, here comes Coney Ely. Or any type of offensive runs inside between the tackles, and you have, I mean, Lucas Vincent and all the big guys stuffing up the pass inside, the runs inside. I mean, there is nothing that Florida could have done except for possibly run straight down the field and see if you can throw it up and get that. But then again, they don't have as big a wide receivers as Mizzou does.
And, you know, that was just part of the story. Braylon Webb leads the way with 8 tackles. Andrew Wilson, 6 tackles. Kentrell Brothers, 6 tackles. And the entire defense is just playing so well. And this Missouri team is really latching on to something special. A lot of the same guys that were on this team last year that struggled in the first year of the Southeastern Conference, but they had a great offseason. And as Gary Pinkel told me in our postgame interview that you can also watch here on MizzouNetwork.com, the Mizzou Network YouTube channel, it's just a group that bears down. When the going gets tough, they get extra tough, and that's why they play so well. That's why their defense has been so good on third down. That's why they've finished games so well in the fourth quarter, whether it be this week against Florida, last week against Georgia. They finished the game very well against Vanderbilt, even whenever they jumped out to a big lead. You know, whenever they needed to finish strong early in the season when things were still coming together here in home games against teams like Arkansas State and Toledo. They did, and it's really indicative of the special atmosphere that this team is really generating, and even they have a hard time explaining what it is. But I tell you what, at 7-0 and a 2-game lead in the SEC East Division right now, you can't deny that this is a darn good football team, and they'll get back to the grind this week and try to be great when they welcome South Carolina to the Zoo next Saturday for homecoming. This has been a Mizzou Network post-game extra after the Tigers' 36-17 win over the Florida Gators. For Colin McElroy, I'm Ben Arnet for the Mizzou Network.